Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about the new movie, Air. Growing up I was a huge fan of Michael Jordan, so I wanted to go check this movie out. The synopsis is as follows. Sonny Vaccaro and Nike pursue basketball rookie Michael Jordan, creating a partnership that revolutionizes the world of sports and contemporary culture. So without further ado, let's get into the 6 things that make a movie great. 1. The plot. Sonny Vaccaro sees Michael Jordan's gameplay and he says, I have a feeling about this guy. We need to sign him no matter what it takes. And he has to convince the rest of his co-workers and his superiors that they should spend their entire budget on signing this guy to Nike instead of spreading it out over 3 or 4 players just in case 1 or 2 of them do well and the other 2 don't. It's a huge gamble and it involved the success or failure of many of their careers, but with Sonny sticking to his convictions, he sets out to make the deal happen. Now the story of Michael Jordan is an incredible one, there is absolutely no doubt about that. And I guess for me the part where I think this movie could have been better is if it involved the backstory of Michael Jordan growing up, what his career looked like early on, as well as involving the deal with Nike. But this movie is purely about the deal that Nike puts together and all the effort that Sonny Vaccaro goes through to make this deal happen in signing Michael Jordan. Is it a cool story? Yes. Is it the most impactful story that could have been told here? Not necessarily. It was a bit of a slower drama, which is just fine. I love myself a good Ben Affleck and Matt Damon drama. I just think they could have added so much more to this movie to make it more meaningful than it actually turned out being. But for all intents and purposes, plot gets a thumbs up. 2 is family friendliness. Air is rated R, and it is rated R for no other reason than profanity and profane language. And there are a couple scenes specifically where there's one character that puts together a very creative string of profanities that I haven't heard before. And honestly, it was funny in the moment, but it was extremely inappropriate. So this movie is definitely not family friendly. Family friendly just gets a thumbs down. 3 is acting and script. The acting in this movie was very well done. This movie has a ton of A-list actors in it, and I think they all did a great job. Most of this movie has to do with Sonny Vaccaro, played by Matt Damon, and I feel like Damon's performance was the best in the film. Viola Davis plays Michael Jordan's mom, and she does an excellent job as well. But I will say that Chris Tucker's performance seemed a little weak for some reason. I couldn't really put my finger on it, but it was just kind of strange. But the dialogue and interactions between characters were all very well done, and I think they did a great job writing this story. For me, there was one very powerful scene in this movie that involved the presentation that Nike put together for Michael Jordan and a speech that Sonny Vaccaro ad-libs during that presentation. It's the most epic part of the movie and it's a super cool and emotional scene. Vaccaro starts describing to Michael Jordan what he believes his career will look like, and as that's going on, they're putting images and clips up on the scene from Michael Jordan's real life that coincide with the speech that Vaccaro is delivering to Michael Jordan himself. It's a very powerful and emotional scene, especially if you know the story of Michael Jordan and all that he has endured during his life, and it was my favorite scene of the movie. So for me, acting and script get a thumbs up. 4 is character development. It didn't feel like there was a ton of character development in this movie. There's that whole character progression element that I always talk about, but as far as depth of character, I just didn't feel like there was much there. And that's because you're not really given insight into a lot of who these characters are as people or what their lives look like or their families or anything like that. Even between Michael Jordan and his mother Dolores, there's no character development because we don't actually see Michael Jordan for the entire movie. So while the story they told was good and you get to see the passions behind each of the characters involved, there wasn't much character development at all. So for me, character development gets a thumbs down. 5 is visuals and CGI. I didn't see any CGI in this movie, and it's not really one that would call for something like that. As far as visuals go, like I mentioned, this movie never shows Michael Jordan, so they do a good job of shooting scenes so that he is never fully in frame. You're either behind him or he's off to the side. And they use different photos and clips from Michael Jordan's real life, whether he's playing basketball or as a newspaper headline or something like that. Very effective use of visuals for the story that they were trying to tell, especially during that scene. So for me, visuals and CGI get a thumbs up. And 6 is rewatchability. Air is an hour and 52 minutes long, and for me, it felt rather short. Which is fine given the story that they chose to tell. They didn't choose to involve much about Michael Jordan and his upbringing in his early career. It was specifically about Sonny Vaccaro and all of the attention to detail and persistence that went into making this deal and setting up the meeting between Nike and Michael Jordan. Do I feel like the movie could have been even better and more impactful if they actually involved Michael Jordan in a bit of his career and upbringing and story? Yes. Does that mean this is a bad movie? No. The movie was a drama, it was a bit of a slow burn, but it was entertaining and it told the story effectively that it set out to tell. So for me, rewatchability gets a thumbs up. With all these areas considered, I have to give Air a 7 out of 10. This movie had a lot of profanity, but it had great acting performances, and it did an effective job telling the story of Sonny Vaccaro and the deal that he made happen between Nike and Michael Jordan, which completely changed the sport and shoe industry as we know it today. But if you're a fan of Michael Jordan or you're a fan of Matt Damon and Ben Affleck dramas, it might be a movie you want to go check out in theaters. Thank you so much for watching. If you've seen Air, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. As always, I appreciate your love and support, and I'll catch you guys and gals in the next one.